Chapter 53, Hatching. However, after being disturbed by Marquis Blumrush, Jimmy's sleepiness was driven away. And seeing that successful hatching was in sight, Jimmy was really curious about what would hatch from this egg that had swallowed a huge amount of gold coins. As he thought about it, Jimmy couldn't help but speed up the process of charging money. 99,991, 99,992, 99,993. When the progress reached 99,998 and it was only one step away from hatching, Jimmy suddenly stopped. He turned his attention to the lucky dice. The command to use it was given, and the dice spun rapidly and then stopped. Not bad. Jimmy nodded slightly. The result of throwing the dice is, good luck. Ding. Luck dice starts taking effect, lasting for 5 minutes. In this case, this egg should be able to hatch something good, right? But at this moment, the voice from the system ruthlessly shattered Jimmy's fantasy. Host, please be aware that once you draw the magic egg, the species that can be hatched is fixed and cannot be changed by the dice effect. Oh my god, why didn't you tell me earlier? Jimmy's face was suddenly filled with black lines. Host, you didn't ask. The answer from the lottery system was polite but awkward. Forget it, since it has no effect on the eggs, let's take advantage of this lucky time and draw some first. There are 400 points available. After thinking about it, Jimmy decided not to use them all. It is obviously more cost-effective to save some points and wait until the dice rolls, very lucky, or, God-level lucky, before drawing. The dice didn't have much time to take effect, and Jimmy made a decision quickly. Draw an equipment item. Ding. Consume 200 points, congratulations on winning the Common Rider Transformation Belt, for ease. What the hell? Does it also have Common Rider Belt? As if sensing Jimmy's mood swings, the system took the initiative to answer. Host, please pay attention at the description of this system, there is nothing you can't draw, except what you can't think of. Well, let's just call him Common Rider, and of course, Faiz Jimmy is also aware of this. He has watched this series although not all episodes and seasons, but he still knows about basic abilities of this belt. The current plane has been changed, and the actual effect has also been altered to match the current world. Effect. Enter the password, 555, on your mobile phone and insert it into the belt to activate. After the transformation, the overall strength of the transformer will be greatly improved. Restrictions on use. Physical fitness must reach the belt limit. I remember that in the original series. In order to use this belt, one must have a certain monster factor in their body. But because of the change in the effect, if it only requires physical fitness, then Jimmy will definitely have no problem. Although I really want to try out the effect of the belt right now, this is not a suitable occasion. And if used properly, this belt seems to be able to do a lot of things. Thinking of this, Jimmy temporarily placed the belt in the system space and turned his gaze to the egg in his hand that was about to hatch. The last gold coin, just one step away. Come on, let me see what you are. Jimmy muttered as he put in the last gold coin. Marquis Blumrush on the side also widened his eyes, his face full of curiosity. Being owned by Lord Sword God and having consumed so many gold coins, it shouldn't be an ordinary thing. Click. As Jimmy put in the last gold coin, the round egg made a crisp sound. Then, there was a bright light. The red, yellow and green colors of light bloomed in the already glittering vault, making it impossible to open one's eyes. After a few seconds, the light gradually dimmed and returned to the round egg. Snap. This is the sound of eggshells breaking. At the same time, emerging from the rift. It was not what Jimmy had expected, a baby dragon or a Pokemon. The beak that pecks through the eggshell from the inside is a sharp little beak belonging to the bird family. Is it a little phoenix? Jimmy suddenly became excited. But as the eggshell continued to shatter, Jimmy looked closely. His gaze met a pair of small dark eyes inside. White belly and black back, this is actually a penguin. Jimmy suddenly lost interest. After waiting for so long, this was just a piece of junk. No one would be happy if it were someone else. The newly born little penguin glanced at Jimmy. As if it had sensed its owner's depressed mood, it actually spoke in human language. My friend, do you want to top up your QQ coins? Puff. Jimmy almost vomited blood. Now he finally understood. Why does this egg require 100,000 gold coins to hatch? Look at this look and then look at the red scarf around the neck. It turns out that this thing is the one from the unscrupulous Chinese game agent Tencent from original Earth. It is game company that produced PUBG. No wonder he keeps asking me to recharge my account. Jimmy had no expression on his face. He picked up the eggshell on the ground and silently covered it back. System, I request a replacement. I'm sorry, host, this system can't do this. Looking down at the little penguin who had peeled off the eggshell again, looking at him hopefully with a face that said, hurry up and recharge your QQ coins. Jimmy felt extremely annoyed. It hurts more than my kidneys from having sex with 15 girls last night. 3 comments 0 vote. Pissed. Download the app for additional rewards. More events, more perks. Winning you more free perks. Download now. VOIDKEEPER. Download app now. Chapter 54. Recharge your coins. Jimmy was a little confused as to whether he should release this little creature back into the wild. Or roast it. But I haven't heard that penguin meat tastes good. With the existence of the system, the days ahead will definitely not be peaceful. Having a pet like this that can only be cute is of no benefit to it or Jimmy. At this moment, the combat power tester in the left eye suddenly rang. Beep beep beep. Not surprisingly, this little penguin only has a pitiful 1 point of combat power. But soon, Jimmy's eyes widened. Seeing that its owner ignored it, the little creature looked around and drooled from its tiny beak. Its favorite foods are everywhere. Without saying anything, it dove into the pile of gold coins and started to feast on them. This is exactly why Jimmy was surprised. As gold coins continued to be absorbed, its combat power began to increase rapidly little by little. 1, 2, 3, 4. 101, 102, 103. 1 gold coin represents 1 point of combat power. After a few minutes, the little penguin had swallowed 700 gold coins. Therefore, its current combat power value is 700. You know, Jimmy, who has mastered the 5 styles recently and has made great progress in strength and has passed his weak period, has a combat power index of only 689. Of course, this is without taking into account the Zanpakuto. And now, this little thing, which was only born a few minutes ago, has suddenly surpassed its normal self. As mentioned before, the reason why racial bloodline is so powerful is due to its incredible growth rate and growth limit. This little monster is even more outrageous than Jimmy. After eating the 700 gold coins, the little penguin burped, touched his white belly and sighed. Gee. I'm full. It can be seen very clearly that the little guy seems to have grown a little in size. It moved clumsily towards Jimmy, jumped onto his shoulder, lay down and fell asleep. Jimmy. Jimmy-sama. At this time, Blumrush, who had been silent all the time, finally couldn't help but speak. What on earth is this? His suspicious gaze was fixed on Jimmy's shoulder. Penguins obviously do not exist in this world, so Blumrush does not recognize them. It will be my new partner from now on. Jimmy touched the little penguin's head and spoke. I'll just call you, Q. After instructing Nas and Blumrush to keep his true identity secret from the outside, Jimmy walked out of the mansion leisurely. But on the way back to the royal city, they were blocked at the city gate. The reason, of course, is the little Q on Jimmy's shoulder. At this time, it had already woken up and looked very familiar. With a light kick of his short legs, he jumped from Jimmy's shoulder and landed in front of the 2 gatekeepers. Then, another sentence. My friend, would you like to recharge your QQ coins? What are QQ coins? The 2 guards were naturally confused and could not answer. When Q saw that the 2 had no intention of charging any money, his goose face immediately revealed a very human look of contempt. Tisk. They are just 2 poor fellows. If you don't want to pay, get out of here. Why didn't I realize along the way that the little thing has such a bad personality? Although he was a special class general, Jimmy, as the host, was extremely embarrassed at the moment and hurriedly stepped forward to change the subject. You mean, if it's a monster, I have to register with the Adventurers Guild first, right? Yes, Lord Jimmy. The guard nodded and spoke. This is the kingdom's rule. Please understand. After saying this, he secretly glanced at Q again, and the latter responded with undisguised contempt. What are you looking at? Poor bastard. As expected of Jimmy's pet, it has a lot of personality. The guard thought to himself. The registration is essentially for security reasons. This task should have been handled by the official people of the kingdom. But in fact, when it comes to the level of understanding of monsters, the Adventurers Guild that often deals with them is obviously more suitable for this kind of work. After asking for directions, Jimmy soon arrived at the Adventurers Guild in the royal capital. This is essentially the same Adventurers Guild as the one in the border city of Rantel and can be understood as a branch. The journey he had come here was aided by his status as a special class general of the kingdom and the charm of an elegant noble. The sight of Jimmy walking down the street was eye-catching in itself. And now, add a little cue on the shoulder. These creatures have never been seen before, which are enough to attract the attention and curiosity of passers-by. So, the current situation is that a group of people just followed him. The purpose was just to take a few more glances at Jimmy and the little cue on his shoulder. Most of the people here are women, after all, double charm is no joke. Moreover, the little guy's black and white body and big black eyes make it a cute creature that attracts girls. A few brave young girls even came up to chat with him. As for Jimmy, he is an outstanding young man on Earth in the 21st century. How can I not pick up this girl who came to my doorstep? Hey everyone! If you enjoy powerful MCs, dark fantasy, and Overlord worldbuilding, I've started a new fanfic, Overlord, Rise of the Demon God. Your support means a lot. Let me know what you think, and as always, enjoy the story. Check it out here. VOIDKEEPER Creators Thoughts.